What's up? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you just watched my why I don't give a fucking shit. Oh God, my hat. Why I don't give a shit about the Super Bowl video. I don't care. I don't care. But here's what I do care. I care about you. I care about everybody out there. You guys are amazing. You guys keep me going. You keep my everything. You keep the world a turning. You're the magma in the core of my earth. You're what flows around the outer core. You guys are awesome. That's what I'm trying to say. And you guys always give great questions and great comments. And Sunday is devoted to you, the viewers, the guys who make this thing worth doing every single day. So today is Sunday, and your daily focus is, of course, viewer questions. So we're going to jump right into it. Couple things. Make sure that you guys are checking out all the Creators Corner that's going on. Jeff Huffman's Creators Corner is next week. Very excited about that. If you have not yet watched Dave Rose's Creators Corner from this week, make sure you check that out because it's fantastic. And keep in mind that the new banner on the channel page on YouTube, is made by Dave Rose. Yeah. Oh, you're awesome when you're sneezing musically. That's just, I can't help it. I sneeze music. I'm a whimsical guy. Can't help it. Dave Rose did the wonderful new banner, the schedule banner. Make sure you check that out. It's a great thing. Great piece of work. Just great job. So you're awesome, Dave Rose. And he did a great job on this week's Creators Corner. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to Tony Barrasso, the young kid, the super fan that I like to call him, for joining me yesterday. He did a great job, absolute great job. I have a feeling he wants my job. He wants to take over 100% all the time. He wants to make it Dead on Tony Productions. No, he's welcome here anytime. I'm going to have him on more often. I'm going to try to get more people in every now and then, but I like talking. I like just doing my solo thing, too. So don't worry. All of you who have opinions, I told you how to get in touch with me. You can just check me out right on Skype. I will add you, and then as I see fit, as I see where I can really get something a little bit extra from you guys, I will make calls and try to get you on. So all of that stuff is going on while we continue our march to the elusive 500 subscriptions. And when we do that, it will be time to give away the box of stuff from all of my monthly subscription boxes, like Arcade Block and Nerd Block and Loot Chest and all of these things. We've been putting items away, and once we hit 500, one lucky subscriber at random will be chosen, and I will send you this box of love from Germany. So that's pretty cool. We're almost there. We're about to hit 400. I was hoping we were going to hit it before February 1st. We were 3 short. Right now we're at 397. So if you have yet to sub, make sure you subscribe. All right, all of those shilly plugs are out of the way. Let's get to you guys, the questions. And my stupid thing is not loading very well. All right. So we got a few questions. We got some good ones. I'm very excited to get to them. The first one this week, and I'm getting a little frustrated here because my program is not working. My wife thought I was going to be yelling at her, and it's funny. The first one is from the guy that was in the story I told about. God, I can't talk. I told the story the other day about my 24-second incredible unblinking eye contact fart that I had with another man. It was incredible. His name is Brian Stewart, and he has a question. Actually, a couple questions. So let's start with that, shall we? Because how can I possibly resist answering the question of a guy that I shared so intimate a moment with? I can't. That's how. His question is, what do you think of Drew McIntyre, Galloway, making his TNA debut? I mean, at one time he was the chosen one in the WWE. Also, what do you think of the somewhat decline of Cesaro? He went from winning the Andre Battle Royal and main eventing Raw and SmackDown to teaming with Tyson Kidd and Adam Rose. Okay, let's get with Drew McIntyre first because I think it's a much easier question to answer. McIntyre is boring. He's as vanilla can be. He has no personality, no charisma at all. And by the way, going, yeah, is not charisma. And that's what he does. That's his go, yeah, is his move. It's what he did in 3MB. The one place they put him where he could have shown the most charisma is where he showed the least. Now, maybe he was disinterested. I have no idea. But here's the thing. McIntyre is very basic in the ring. He's not a great technician. He's not a mechanic. This guy is capable of putting on a good match when he's with other people around him, but he by no means makes other people better with his presence. Now, yes, I understand that he had a good run in the Indies before he eventually did sign with TNA. I know that he had some good matches around the world, and that's fantastic. But he was also wrestling with some of the best competition internationally, so it kind of speaks to my point of him not making other people better. Other people bring out the talent that is within him. Now, I don't know if it's because he doesn't put in the proper work or if he just kind of gets by on the hype that's been placed upon him. Maybe he truly bought into that Chosen One gimmick that he had in WWE. I don't know, but this guy doesn't connect, for me at least. And I think TNA is going to come to realize that relatively quickly. But we'll see. We'll see. It has not worked yet, but TNA has shown yet again the unwillingness to kind of evolve and really start thinking outside of their own spectrum. Case in point, here's a spoiler. In the next few weeks, you will see the 46-year-old Kurt Angle win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And from what I am understanding, a very lackluster match. I've had people write me who were there, and they told me that the match was not good. And these are people who are TNA fans, but they're also fans of wrestling. They're kind of like me. They're able to look at a match and not get lost in their fandom of a wrestler, like Kurt Angle. I love Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle's had some great stuff. He was once a great wrestler. I think he's also quite overrated, to be completely honest with you. And here's the thing about Kurt. He can't go anymore. He does spots now that he didn't do when he was younger, like taking fucking moonsaults off of the top of a cage. He does these things now because he doesn't have the substance he once had. And I'm sorry, grabbing someone's ankle in different ways and grapevining it into an ankle lock submission does not constitute great ring work to me. It just doesn't. He doesn't look right. He hasn't looked right since he left WWE, to be completely honest. It's why WWE didn't want him back. Because they know he doesn't take care of himself. He's one of those guys who will wrestle with a broken arm. He doesn't care. And while that might be a really awesome, manly thing, it's not very friggin' smart. In fact, it flies in the face of one of his three eyes. Jesus, man. And it drives me crazy. So, 46-year-old Kurt Angle is now once again the champion of TNA. It has yet to do anything for them in the past. Why they think it will do something for him now is beyond me. They're hoping that now they're with a new channel that gets less viewers than their old channel, that an old name that most people aren't even aware that he's still wrestling. They're hoping that is what's going to drive their product to the next level. Say what you want about Roman Reigns, but at least he's new. He may not be different, but at least he's new. Jesus, he's 29. At the very least, he has an upside. What upside does Kurt Angle have? I'm sorry I've completely got off topic here, but I've been wanting to rant about this since I read about it. So, all right. Anyway, moving on to the second part of that question, Cesaro. Cesaro, this is a very weird situation because going into WrestleMania last year, Cesaro was picked by most people to be the breakout superstar of this year. Everybody figured that Cesaro was going to be the man because he had all this momentum. He had the Cesaro swing going. He was getting great reactions. It looked like he was on the verge of a face turn. He wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal in very, very convincing fashion. And then, unexplicably, he teams with Paul Heyman. He turns on Zeb Coulter and teams with Paul Heyman. And at first, people were like, that's awesome. And then they quickly realized, it's not Paul Heyman's fault, but he delivers a heel promo about how Cesaro doesn't give a shit about any of you and all of this stuff. It just didn't work. People didn't want to hate Cesaro. Sometimes WWE doesn't quite understand. And it's not the same thing as the Reigns situation because, if anything, WWE was trying to give fans more of what they were clamoring for in a way because we were cheering Roman Reigns. People don't want to admit to that now, of course, but we were cheering Reigns. Everybody was going crazy. He was getting great reactions. Top 3 reactions every single show he was getting. He was one of those guys. What are you looking at? Why are you...
arm raped.
He did get arm raped by a chick. That was awesome. It's all very true. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing as what they're doing with Cesaro. Thanks for interrupting me. I was flowing. I was going, man. I had a clear, concise message I was trying to convey, and you just Germaned it up.
I had to defend your meat suit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But with Cesaro, they could have easily kept going the same way that they were going, letting the fans dictate, at least in that situation, where his character was going. We wanted him to be a good guy. We wanted to cheer him. And they were severely lacking a face. Cesaro could have been that guy. But instead, they dropped the ball on him. They give him a weird push with Heyman. And that's the thing. I can't even call it a push because they teamed him with Heyman, and then he just started losing matches. Instantly just started losing matches. It just made no sense. Just weird backwards booking, and I don't get it. But that's what WWE does at times, and they made a mistake. And they're saying now it's because that Cesaro has an ability to connect with fans. And maybe that's true. I kind of get that in a way as well. He doesn't have a lot of charisma. No, that's not true. He has charisma, but he doesn't have a lot of talking ability, which is weird for a guy who legitimately speaks 5 languages, by the way. It's just very strange. I don't get it, but it is what it is. As far as him teaming with Tyson Kidd, I feel that's actually a step in the right direction for him, because I felt when they did it, it was because Cesaro was on the way out. Now I am not so sure because Cesaro and Kidd are quickly becoming, if not already, the best tag team in the division. Both guys are on the upswing, I believe. Their trajectory is pointing straight up right now. And watch out, Usos. I believe they're going to be in a key match at WrestleMania with the Usos and the Ascension. That's what I see happening. They might, or it could get cut off at the legs, and they might just be building them up to feed to the Ascension. That's quite possible too. That we might get the next match for the Ascension. It could be a number 1 contenders match for the tag team titles at Fastlane between Kidd and Cesaro and the Ascension. And the winner of that takes on the Usos at WrestleMania. That's a possibility. So there's a bunch of different ways that they can go with that. But I do believe there's at least some purpose for Kidd and Cesaro. So I'm not really sure he's being buried as heavily as some might think. Good question. Good question, Brian Stewart. Appreciate that. Justin, what is that? Justin Dolan? Is that what that says, babe? Justin Dolan? You got to help me here. I can't read all the time. Justin Dolan.
Make it bigger.
Make you bigger.
I am bigger.
I know. Woohoo! About to get divorced. She hates me. Justin Dolan. You do hate me.
I don't hate
Well, you act like it.
I don't.
Well, you never come on to my videos with me and do unboxings.
Because I'm ugly.
You're not ugly.
Yes, I am.
Barbara. No.
Yes.
You're beautiful, German. See, kids, that's called lack of confidence. See, I know I'm sexy. I don't care. Tell me otherwise. Tell me otherwise. Prove to me that I'm not the sexiest fat man on YouTube. Go ahead. Can't do it. It's inarguable. It's inarguable. Anyway, Justin Dolan, Dave, here's a question for tomorrow's video. Would you like to see an NXT title match at WrestleMania, even if it's only a few minutes? How do I answer that? Yes, I do. I want to see it so bad. Yes. Yes, I want to see an NXT title match at WrestleMania. And I'll take it a step farther. I want to see a fatal 4-way NXT title match. If they're not going to do a fatal 4-way for the WWE Championship, I want to see it in NXT. I want to see Finn Balor. I want to see Hideo Itami or Adrian Neville, one of the two. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn for that NXT championship. That's what I want. Yes, absolutely. No question in my mind. It will steal the show. It is a way to fill. It is a way to tease. It is a way to build up your product down below, as well as put greater emphasis on WrestleMania. WrestleMania needs to feel like that Kingdom shit that we just saw out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. It needs to have these wrestling elements that it doesn't always have. I think I had a giant booger hanging out of my nose most of this episode. I think it's possible. If I did, I apologize. I didn't eat it, though. I save it for later. Anyway, what? What did I say?
Nothing.
Anyway, yeah, I'd love to see it. I think they should do it. Book it right now. Even if it's not a fatal four-way, I'd love to see any combination of Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Adrian Neville. Maybe even Tyler Breeze. Throw him in there as well. I think any combination of those guys would be amazing on the WrestleMania stage. And I also eventually see a Baron Corbin-Roman Reigns standoff because they're identical. So that would be cool too. Really good question, Justin Dolan. Thank you very much. Logan Barrett. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. What's going on, Dave? I hear you mention how awesome Tribute to the Troop was when you were in the service. Other than that, what was your favorite, fondest memory of that experience in your life? That's a very weird question, the way it's worded, but I think I understand what you're trying to ask. What were my favorite moments from Tribute to the Troops in 2007 when I was stationed in Iraq when I was in the United States Army? I think that's the question, and if that is, I can answer that. This shirt is very Jesus. I'm a mess. This shirt is quite special to me. I caught it out of the hands of Shawn Michaels. It went from his hands to my hand. I caught it and had both he and Triple H sign it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. I absolutely cherish it. It's fantastic. I got to go to the show. I was in the front row, which was really cool, and we staked out to go do it. But I had a lot of fun in those 2-3 days that they were there on Camp Stryker. Was it? I believe it was Stryker, yeah. What? Spiker, thank you. God, Stryker. What the hell's the matter with me? I'm old. Too many concussions in the Army. Yeah, Spiker. My wife remembers, but I don't. Anyways. Yeah, Spiker into Crit. That's right. Oh, yeah. Probably some of the things that I remember most is... So I took a small break there. I kind of forgot what I was saying because I wanted to upload a couple pictures to here to kind of talk about some of the things that happened when I was in Iraq. God damn beanie. So here it is. Here's some stuff. Check it out. I mean, meeting Shawn Michaels and Triple H was absolutely incredible. There I am. You can see me. You can kind of see the hint of who I used to be. There's Vince McMahon. Meeting him was absolutely amazing. Meeting these guys, them coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning into what was called D-Main. It's where we all worked. I mean, there's Randy Orton, Umaga, Hardcore Holly, Mark Henry's back there, Jeff Hardy's back there. Look, John Cena's got his arm around me. It's incredible. There's Randy Orton and Umaga. You can kind of see that. That's me. I'm much better looking back then. But these are just some of my best memories that I have from that time. Any deployment I ever had. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. Shawn Michaels, not only catching his shirt, but having a conversation with him was just incredible. I was starstruck. I was like, I've been watching you since I was a kid. I love you, man. You're amazing. He goes, if I had a quarter for every time I've been told that, I'd be a millionaire. Oh, wait, I am a millionaire. And it was hysterical. Randy Orton was a dick. Everybody blatantly heard him say at one point, "Can't we just get the fuck out of here?" Mr. Kennedy was there. One of the favorite things I did, I never got shown, but I did a Mr. Kennedy intros. It's something I can do pretty well. Mister! I can do it really well. All my friends were always trying to get me to do it. And I did it on a WWE camera. I never saw it. I don't think it got aired, but it was pretty cool. And they were all excited about it, the camera crew who filmed me doing it. They were like, "Oh, that's incredible. We're definitely going to air that," and it didn't get aired, as far as I know. But that whole experience was absolutely amazing. They were so open, and it was really cool. Talking to John Cena was neat. I know Tommy C has a much different account with John Cena. He was under different circumstances than I got to meet him. But they were also ragged out. They were exhausted. This was after they had already done all of those other things, gone to all the other posts, and then they flew all across Iraq to get to us. And it was really late at night, and Jeff Hardy looked like he was stoned out of his gourd. Rey Mysterio, you probably couldn't see him in any of the pictures because he's so small, but he was there. And it was just a really cool thing, man. And as a lifelong wrestling fan who's met a lot of wrestlers in the past, living in Vegas, I met a lot of wrestlers and talked to a lot of wrestlers. I've had dinner with Chris Jericho. I've had dinner with Chris Benoit and Nancy, and when they had their little tiny son Daniel, I had a dinner with them. I mean, I've had some cool wrestling moments in my life, but this was probably the most special because I knew that I got hurt. Well, I was already hurt, but I was actually medically evacuated from Iraq just a few days later after all of this stuff happened. So this was a really special time for me. It's one of probably my last good memory of the Army, really. Other than that, after that, it was just pain. Constant pain. I've been in pain basically since 3 days after those pictures were taken. And that was in 2007, December of 2007, maybe even November. No, late December, early November 2007 was when that was filmed. And basically a couple days after that I've been in pain ever since. I've had to have a spinal cord stimulator installed and all of this stuff. It's been horrible. But that memory will always stick with me. It's one of my absolute favorite things I've ever done. And I don't regret my service one bit. And having that reward, talking to some of my heroes. Triple H was awesome. Vince McMahon, talking to him for a few minutes. What an incredible man. I mean, just like when you stand next to Vince McMahon, it's incredible because he's Vince fucking McMahon. And regardless of how many things that they might get wrong, he's still Vince McMahon, and it was absolutely incredible. I was beside myself. It was great. A really, really good moment. I'm actually getting a little emotional just thinking about it. So, great question, Logan. I appreciate it. As always, great question. Dr. Bostonian always has good questions. I've asked a similar question before, but who will John Cena face in his last match? When do you think his last match will take place, and will he be put in the Hall of Fame? Well, let's answer the last question first. Yes, there's no question. John Cena is going to be put in the Hall of Fame with some of the greatest honors in the history of wrestling. He will probably go in as an active member. He will probably be hailed as the greatest WWE superstar of all time, and it might not be an incorrect statement. I know that's not a popular thing to say, but when you look at it, he defined an era. Maybe not the greatest era, but he certainly defined it. And, he will always be the company man. He will always be John Cena, the face that runs the place, whatever you want to call him. So, yes, there's no question. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame with probably the greatest honors of any superstar in history. I don't think there's any question about that. As to when his retirement match and who will it be against, I have a couple different opinions on that because it's not an easy question to answer. Part of me thinks he might be winding down now. Part of me believes that the end might be nigh for John Cena. It's quite possible. The way that he's been working this year, I don't know. There's something not right about him to me. And maybe this Rusev thing, knowing that he's going to be taking a lesser match at WrestleMania, battling Rusev, I don't see John Cena going over Rusev here. A lot of people do. They're just going to feed Rusev to Cena, and that's possible. They fed Bray Wyatt to him last year. They could do the exact same thing this year. I think it's a different John Cena this year. I'm not entirely sold on the fact that he is going to be around much after this Rusev match. So it's possible that he puts Rusev over and goes away for a while. I think he might come back in a year, maybe 6 months. Who knows? but he needs to reinvent himself a little bit. As far as a retirement match goes, I don't think we're going to see that anytime soon. I think he will be in the WWE in some form or capacity, even maybe just a part-timer for quite a long time. I see him wrestling deep into his 40s. He has the right style for it. He has the right build because he is Hulk Hogan. I mean, he just is. So I see him following that same guidelines. Maybe not waiting till 43 to turn heel, but I definitely see him leading a heel faction in an invasion type storyline, taking over the industry that he feels he's in control of anyway, or at least a company that he feels he runs anyway. I see that happening at some point, and that'll be quite interesting when it does. His final match, who I'd like it to be against, I know it's impossible, but I'd love it to be against Edge because I feel that's his greatest rival. But probably someone like Randy Orton. That's my phone telling me it's about to die. Probably someone like Randy Orton. I think it's possible. It could also be very likely that it's Roman Reigns. Just straight out torch passing. I think that. But here's the problem with that match. That could be a match like Brock and Rock, where nobody cares, or Brock and Goldberg, probably a better comparison, where everyone's just like boo, but everyone knew they were both leaving, so that's not even a very good comparison. I'm not sure exactly who he's going to fight. I know who I'd like to see him wrestle, but I don't know. It's very weird. As to when, no idea. It could happen as early as this year, or it could be a couple years down the road. It could be a Triple H type match. It could be two legends, him and another older legendary guy going at it. That's possible. The Undertaker is not beyond the realm of possibility. I mean, it's just maybe even The Rock again. There are so many things. It just, you never know. I think also CM Punk is a possibility, believe it or not. I still believe CM Punk will return at some point because you never say never. Ooh, yeah. So I think that's a possibility. After he gets his ass kicked in UFC, his eyes might open up. And who knows? And that would be a fantastic final match for John Cena. Daniel Bryan would be a great final feud for him as well. Seth Rollins, I would like to see that. Dean Ambrose, any of these guys would be very fitting to take out the legend that is John Cena. Love him or hate him, you cannot minimize the impact he's had on the wrestling for good or bad. Yes, I'm talking like an old man on the wrestling. Those are all the questions I got, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about the top 5 from yesterday real quick. I did top 5 on worst and best attire of all time. I asked you guys for your opinions, and honestly, I was overwhelmed at the outpouring of ideas for top 5s. So I want to read a few of them now, the ideas, and kind of answer maybe a few of them as if they were questions. Ed Crowley, you win the award for most obscure friggin' top 5 suggestions. Top 5 pay-per-view logos of all time. I'm not even going to dignify that with a friggin' response. Top 5 other people named Dave. Top 5 NXT wrestlers currently. That's pretty easy. Kevin Owens, Hideo Itami, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville. I think those are your top 5. And you can probably put Charlotte in there too. A couple other guys, but those are your top 5. And I don't even think there's a question about it. Greatest commentators of all time. Announcers. He says, i.e. Jim Ross, Bobby Heenan. Well, there you go. That you put the answer right there. Jim Ross and Bobby Heenan would be the most legendary crew. If they were able to be put together, they would be fantastic. I also put Lord Alfred Hayes into that category, and Gorilla Monsoon. Gorilla Monsoon, he did something. He sounded legit. It was great to hear him call matches. So him, Macho Man was great. He was really good. So was Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect was a great announcer. If he would have done more announcing, he could have been one of the greatest of all time. CM Punk, I believe, could have been one of the greatest announcers of all time. He's a great announcer. He was great when he was doing commentary. That's my Diet Coke, John. It was great. So I think those guys are in there. Wrestling Ghost Network, WG Network, greatest top 5 title changes ever, any era. I'm going to answer that at a later date because it's quite a question. That one's going to take some thought. Really good one, though. Eddie N, top 5 funniest wrestlers of all time. Depends on what type of funny we're talking about here. I think I'll just give you my number 1 probably would be The Rock. I think it's kind of hard to argue against The Rock. The things he said would have you just absolute dying laughing. It was so good. And why does my wife have a weird look on her face? Did you shrink my shirt?
No, you just threw it in there, and now you have some gray hair.
What do you mean I have gray hair? Oh, it faded it.
It took some off.
Oh, my shirt got faded. Oh, well. It happens. Like I do laundry. Like I know what I'm doing. I mean, I just put stuff in the laundry, put soap in, boom. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh, don't give me that look. Anyway, what was I saying? Thanks a lot, babe. You interrupted me again. Now, funny wrestlers, funniest. The Rock. I am Kane. I am a Rudy Poo. And Kane's happy. Kane's doing jumping jacks because Kane can talk. Finally, the big red retard can speak. You know that stuff he did was great. Piper. Piper is one of the funniest guys. Absolutely hysterical. Jesse Ventura. Hysterical. Very funny guys. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, both also in that category. Very funny. Maybe the most unintentionally funny guy is Bret Hart. It's just things he said were never intended to be funny, yet they always were because he's so ridiculous. He took himself so seriously. Disco and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, my God, he had me busting quite often. Very funny. So all those guys are in the conversation. Black Mamba, probably my favorite top 5s. Let's see. Top 5 TLC matches. Top 5 creepy-ass wrestlers. Top 5 wrestler tattoos. Top 5 WWE divas who went nude or did porn. That one's pretty easy. Sable is up there. Her Playboy spread was amazing. Chyna's was deceptively good. And I actually really enjoy it. I will never admit this again, but I watch Chyna's porn quite often. And it's not bad. I don't know why. There's something wrong with me, but that chick could take a D, can't she? My God. Top 5 ways. This is my favorite, by the way. This is my favorite one. Top 5 ways Crowley's a bitch. Black Mamba, you win the internet. Congratulations. Jock Davis, top 5 anti-heroes. I think that's too easy of a one to give number 1 to. That's Steve Austin, probably the greatest anti-hero of all time. Pittsburgh Boy, 96. Top 5 Mania matches. That one's pretty good. I'll probably do one on that. Jack Mad, top 5 changes you want to see happen in the WWE right now. That one's pretty good. Brand split. That's something I really want to see. Brand split. I want to see the brand split come back. I want to see a permanent Raw GM. I want to see a GM having confrontation with the Authority. I want to see that. I want to see an equal good guy presence in the Authority angle to the bad guy. I want to see a counter. Those type of things. I want to see better matchmaking within divisions. I want to see some title changes as far as like what titles we have. I've done a video on that in the past. So those type of things. Damon Crosan, top 5 most entertaining match types or stipulations. Stipulations. He meant stipulations. I always loved TLC. I always loved Elimination Chamber. King of the Ring, I know it's not a match type or stipulation. It is a tournament, and I guess that's kind of a stipulation. King of the Ring is one of my favorite type of things they ever did. I'm a big fan of 2 out of 3 falls matches. I always have been. I love those. The Three Stages of Hell, I'd probably say is one of my favorites. That's great. I love Three Stages of Hell. It never gets done, though. I love it. Top 5 biggest pops. I'll answer this one straight out after I'm going to give you the number one, for me at least. And that's from Sean Cusack. But that's after Calder. Or what is it? Cadler? Calder. He top 5 band moves. I'm going to have to do some research into that one. But back to Sean Cusack. Top 5 biggest pops. The biggest pop I have ever heard in my life as a wrestling fan happened in Georgia. You know where I'm going. 1998, Goldberg takes the title off Hogan. I don't think I've ever heard a bigger pop than that. When Hogan got put up in the jackhammer, Goldberg got his ass up. That pop was amazing. It was one of those incredible. The roof literally exploded off that place. Not literally, of course, but I mean, it felt like it did. It was insane. I hate when people say literally and then don't give a literal thing. God, I can't believe I did that. I hate myself so much. Punch myself in the face. That one always sticks out in my mind. Austin, just on any given Austin night, any given Monday Night Raw, Austin's pops can rival just about anyone's. Back in the Attitude Era, they were quite amazing. So I that's another one I want to do more research into and do a show on that. So thank you guys for all of those suggestions, because you've given me shows for the next month easily. So I appreciate that. The support is overwhelming as always. You guys are absolutely incredible. Hope you guys enjoyed today's viewer questions episode. Make sure you leave all your questions you want answered for next week's show right here in the comment section below. And any other suggestions you have for the channel, any comments you would like read on next week's viewer questions, you let me know, and I'll read them off. I'll do exactly what I did here, and it was a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoy it. Make sure you're checking out everything that's happening on the channel. We should be having a new unboxing very soon, hopefully tomorrow or the next day. My arcade block is getting here, and I want to know what's in it. And I'm trying not to watch anybody else's unboxings. I'm freaking out. So thank you guys for all the support. Enjoy the Super Bowl if you are so inclined. If not, make sure you check out Tommy C's channel tonight. Shot from the Point Live, if he can pull himself away from other distractions in life, of course. Inside joke. But Shot from the Point Live, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you check that out. Joe Cronin, at some point, I'm sure him and I are going to do a State of the WWE. I have no idea when. He wrote me when I was dead asleep. He knows when I'm asleep. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Other than that, that's all I got. Thanks for joining me. I'm out of here. Peace.